babies anyhow. So finding a 4-month-old baby elephant all alone meant that most likely the mother was not alive. And that's why we rescued Muzinga. She doubles to be the cheekiest elephant around. Behind Muzinga is an elephant by the name Taroha, who is approximately 2 years, who is the most calm, polite, and gentle elephant in the nursery. And Taroha was rescued from Savo West National Park. He was found lying down along Lake Jipe within the park in Savo West, all alone, while at the age of about 6 months. That is why we rescued him. Behind Taroha now, or joining Taroha now on my right, is the oldest boy, an elephant with the name Shuja, who is approximately 3 years old. And Shuja was rescued from Sava Conservation Area. He was found stuck in a dry water hole due to the drought. When we've got heavy rains, we do have some water holes that will retain water for longer periods. When it gets dry, the animals will make good use of this water from the water holes. But 2.5 years ago, the period of the drought was too long until all the water holes ended up drying. This little boy was found stuck in this little sticky mud left after all the water had dried. Very lucky to have braved the whole night all alone. Braved the whole night because this is a park that has got full of lions and hyenas. So he braved the whole night and was found on one morning still alive. And that's why we named him Shuja, which is Swahili for a hero. At the edge of the waterfall right in the middle here is an elephant by the name Padman, who is approximately 2 years old. And for your information, Padman also doubles to be the naughtiest boy around. Padman was rescued from the Masai Mara. He was found standing next to the dead body of the mother. The mother had a big wound on the back, which is believed to have caused her death. The baby found within this area in a very poor, thin condition, and that's why we rescued Padman. He always likes to force his way. Where you don't want him to go, he'll make sure that he does. Always have his way all the time. On the other side of Muzinga is Muzinga's best friend, an elephant with the name Nyambeni, who is also 3 years old. Nyambeni was rescued from Imendi Forest, which is found in Meru. And she was found stuck in a ditch within the forest in Meru, all alone, while at the age of about 3 months. And that is why we rescued Nyambeni. Lastly, we've got the biggest in size at the far end, an elephant by the name Latika, who is 3.5 years old. And Latika also doubles to be the elephant with the shortest trunk in the nursery. She was just born with a very short trunk. She was rescued from Sava Conservation Area. She was found trapped in a snare all around her neck, and that's why we rescued her. A snare is a wire trap. Being around the neck will kill the animals instantly. As one struggles to get out of the snare, it becomes very tight and will suffocate them within a very short period. She's lucky to have been found still alive. And that is why we rescued Latika. So that makes a total of 13 elephants that we've got in the nursery at the moment, all under our care for the past 3 years. Anytime between the age of 3 and 4, we start to reintroduce them back into the world. We'll always reintroduce them to Savo East National Park and Kibwezi Forest, a process that will take them about 5 years or more. And once they find friends among the wild herds, we'll invite them and adopt them. Then we let them go, and let them become wild once again. Generally, elephants will live as long as we do. And approximately 60 to 70 years is the lifespan. This lifespan of an elephant depends on the nature of their teeth. An elephant has got 6 sets of teeth. And every set will last for about 10 years. That's why any time between the age of 60 and 70, all the teeth are worn out, they will die from starvation, which is a natural death. Elephants attain maturity at the age of between 10 to 15 years, starting with the females. The gestation period of an elephant is approximately 2 years. Exactly 22 to 24 months. They'll always stay in groups and families under the leadership of the oldest female, who by natural instinct automatically becomes the leader or the matriarch of the group. The boys will leave the families after maturity, which is above 15 years, while the females will stay together for most part of their lives. Elephants are very clever and very intelligent animals. They also do have a perfect memory, which means they will remember everything that happens in their lives. And that is why the saying that goes, elephants never forget, is very, very true. The tusks of an elephant are part of their teeth. They are the incisors. They start to grow when an elephant is 1 year, but pop out or protrude outside when they approach the age of about 2 years. That is why you might have realized that some of them don't have tusks, which means they're under the age of 2 years. The tusks of an elephant are only important while on a live elephant. This is because the elephant will use them to defend themselves. The elephants will use them to cut the branches when they're feeding. They'll also use them to dig down along the dry rivers to get water during the dry season. And that is why they are only important while on a live elephant. The trunk of an elephant plays the role of the hand as well as the nose. The elephants will breathe through the trunk. They will suck the water in the trunk, then the trunk can blow the water into the mouth. They'll collect food and put it into the mouth using the trunk. So it is very important, and also the most sensitive part on an elephant's body. This is because the trunk of an elephant alone holds about 40,000 different types of muscles, and that's why it is also very important. The milk we feed the elephants is not an elephant's milk. This is because it is not very easy to milk a wild elephant and get the real milk. At the same time, it is not cow's milk, since cow's milk has got lots of fats. If you feed them on cow's milk, it will diarrhea today. And that is why we feed them on a human baby formula. Those fats have been emulsified to make it easier for the babies to digest. This formula was pioneered by the founder of this place, the late Dr. Dame Daphne Sheldrick, after 28 years of research. We feed them on intervals of 3 hours, day and night, and one elephant takes about 24 liters of milk in a day. We add some minerals, some vitamins, and some porridge in the milk as well. So that is why it is very important for them for the first 4 years that they are with us in the nursery. When they're out in the world, an elephant will suckle the mother for the first 2 years, and sometimes 2.5. This is because when the tusks start to pop out, the mothers don't allow them to suckle anymore. The water hole here is provided for the elephants to roll in the mud, if and when they want. It is fun for them to play and roll in the mud. A part of the mud stuck on the body protects them from being bitten by some insects and from the red sunshine. That's why we provide it, and they decide if they want to go in or not. The bushes behind me is part of Nairobi National Park, where the elephants will spend the rest of the day so that they can instinctively learn to be wild elephants. They're always accompanied by the keepers who provide protection whenever needed, because the park is full of other wild animals, including the big cats. Only wild elephants are not in Nairobi National Park. So we bring them back for bed in the evening, because the lions can easily attack them at night. That is why the wooden houses that you saw on your left who are coming in are their stockades where elephant has got eat on. And those elephants that are under the age of 2 years have a keeper spending the night in the room, but a different keeper every night, so that they don't get attacked by the same person. We spend the night in the room because they need to be fed on milk every 3 hours at night as well. The little ones, when they come in and they're like a few days old or a few weeks old or a few months old, need to be kept company by being covered with blankets at night when they lie down to
I
sleep.
employed you.
This is because
And then you're going to fire.
money is a big threat to young
I'm going
elephants.
to fire you.
And it is a
And I'm
threat
not taking
because
that.
you cannot step in advance. And this is because they don't show the signs in advance. And they can't show the signs because the lungs of an elephant are attached to ribcage, so they cannot cough. So you cannot see any signs of the treatment earlier. You realize when it's too late by seeing some water dropping from the trunk. That means the lungs are already saturated, and within a very short period, you lose them. So that is why we need a keeper to cover them with blankets when they're here in the nursery. But when they're out in the wild, the big ones always surround all the little ones. And the little ones will get all the warmth, all the heat from all the big ones, and that will keep them warm. So that is why they need a keeper at night. Also for the purposes of keeping them company, since they're social animals. If left alone, they become lonely and stressed. So they can easily be stressed to death for being left alone. So that is why they need a keeper at least for the past 2 to 3 years. For the more than 3 years, you move them to a bigger stockade, where they spend the night alone, in preparation to go to Samu and start the process of being reintroduced back into the world. Different reasons have caused all these babies to be left orphans, but human-wildlife conflict is the first major reason that has caused, and is causing most of them to be left orphans. Human-wildlife conflict is a big problem. This is a problem because there is always an increase in the population of human beings compared to the space and size of land. This has caused human beings to occupy areas that originally belonged to wild animals, causing conflicts over land between the two. And that is why buffer zones along the cultural and conservation areas are being occupied by things. And people are creating families next to the parks. Animals that are attracted to the crops in their own manner, creating conflict between the two. That is why most of the migratory wild animals are the being system. The areas have been occupied by human beings, and people are doing also movement around these areas. Constructions are being involved in our centers. Instead, what is taking place?
Oh, he's going in.
Stay with them. You have to move back.
And their developments, the owners of these developments who want to fight during that process of running up and down, sometimes the mother might end up being killed, or sometimes the baby and the mother separated from one another. Nobody knows what happened to the other. Later on, if the baby is found and nobody knows where the mother is, we are conducted and have to fly out immediately to go and help rescue them from wherever part of the country they will have been identified. So that is why human-wildlife conflict is the first major reason that has caused and is causing most of these babies to be left orphans and therefore brought here in the nursery. Ivory poaching is another reason that has caused a few of them to be left orphans. And I say a few of them because for the last few years, the trend of poaching in Kenya has dropped, which is a good sign. We hope, pray and believe that the drop continues until there will be no more poaching. But unfortunately, a few of them came in because the mothers were killed and the tusks were taken off. I say unfortunately because the act of poaching is being perfected by we human beings. And yet, it is our role as human beings to care and protect for these animals. As human beings, we fail in our role by causing them to be left orphans just because we are interested in the ivory. And an elephant ivory adds no value to human life. And so that is why I'd like to urge all of you are here today to help stop poaching. You can help stop poaching if you want. And this is right from your home and right from your country. I say this because the end products from ivory are being sold from all over the world. So right from your home, you can help make a change by ensuring that you don't buy anything that comes from ivory or from the rhino horn. By ensuring that you spread the word, all your friends and relatives and colleagues, not to buy anything that comes from ivory or from the rhino horn. If we all did that, right from the comfort of our homes, we will have ensured that the poachers don't have a market. Once they don't have a market, they won't see the need to continue feeding the elephant because they don't have a place to sell these ivory. Which means the population of elephants will continue to increase, which will really be great. So that is why ivory poaching is one of the reasons that has caused a few of these babies to be left orphans and therefore brought here in the nursery. Some of the babies were found falling down wells, falling down manholes, getting stuck in the mud, washed down the rivers during the heavy rainfalls, and the mothers were knowing to help to rescue them. Very few are orphans for natural reasons. By natural reasons I mean the mothers have died from old age, from natural diseases, and from starvation back into the world. The majority of them, their reasons for being orphans are human related in one or the other. And that is why it is important that as human beings, we have to come in and make sure that we give them a second chance to survive back into the world. Otherwise, without them being identified and being rescued, it means that all that you can see here now would have died. Which means the population of elephants will be going down every now and then. And in a very near future, we will end up having lost all these animals. In addition to taking care of the baby elephants and rhinos, the Sheldrick World of Tusks has got other projects that they undertake. For example, we have got mobile veterinary units. And these mobile veterinary units will go around the parks, looking for naturally injured animals, treating them, and just setting them free to continue their own natural life. This is not necessarily on elephants and rhinos alone. It is with any other wild animals that have been found out there with any health problems. Once identified, we are conducted, and our mobile veterinary unit will either fly or drive to the scene to go and help treat the injured animals and immediately set them free to continue their own natural life after treatment. We also have anti-poaching teams. These teams are mostly based in Saudi. They will go around the parks looking for snares and snaring. Snares are the traps that are set in the parks, especially by the poachers, and sometimes by the communities neighboring these areas to get hold of these other tight animals for game meat or for skin. And so anti-poaching teams will make sure that they put over all the snares from the parks. We also have drive away the people and violent attack in the park to ensure that the park is kept free and safe for all wild animals. Our anti-poaching teams will also work together with our K9 unit, whereby in case the signs of poachers identified, our sniffer dogs will assist and make sure that the poachers are caught in the long run. Our anti-poaching teams will work together with our aerial surveillance, whereby we do have the planes that will fly in the air, patrolling along the conservation areas. In case there are any illegalities that are taking place within these areas, then our aerial surveillance will be able to notify the Kenya Wildlife Service Rangers and our teams on the ground who will make a follow-up, find out what is happening, and help correct the illegality. And lastly, we do have a community project. Our community project is based within Sava Conservation Area. We'll go around the communities that are neighboring the park and the reserve, giving them education so that they know how to coexist and stay together with these wild animals. The same community project will go around the schools that are neighboring the park and the reserve, giving education to the children. When the children are still young in school, they need to learn that all animals are important and all animals have the right to life. And these animals should not be killed just because somebody is interested in the ivory, in the skin, or in the meat. The areas where all these animals stay should be protected, which means people should stop cutting trees and instead should plant more to preserve all our forests and make sure that all other animals have got a place to feed and hide. We believe when the children are taught this, when they're still in school, they'll be able to keep it in their minds when they're fully grown. They will have made good use of this knowledge by ensuring that they have protected care for all other wild animals in general.